Hey, what's up, guys? It's Braden Sky. Thank you for tuning into the second episode of the Braden Sky Show. Today's guest is Chantel Padilla. She spent a year living and working in what I think is the prettiest place on the planet, which is Yosemite National Park in California. After that, because of coronavirus, she moved to what I think is the second prettiest place on the planet, which is Zion National Park in southern Utah. She's also working on getting into skydiving, which we talk about in this episode. But before I actually get to the interview, I want to give a quick thanks to everyone that watched the last episode. My goal for that was to hit 10 views on the actual full interview, and I ended up hitting about 100 right now. So thank you to everyone that watched that. It was way better received than what I was hoping for. Now let's get straight into the interview with Chantel Padilla. Chantel.
Howdy.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
The reason why I wanted to have you on is because you lived a really cool alternative lifestyle that I mean, let's be honest, it was my idea, right?
I mean,
it was my idea, but you went through with it, and I'm really glad you did, right?
Yes.
So, how long did you live in Yosemite?
I want to say like almost exactly a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about that, right? I want to talk about what it was like living in Yosemite, but the question that I want to ask before I forget, because I probably will, I noticed on this road trip that things got really blasé. Do you know that word?
No, I don't.
Louis the Child has a song about it. But
Blasé.
Yeah, it's like a French word. It means things that should be cool stop becoming cool because you're used to them.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So
Wow.
I've noticed, we did like 105 days before we took our break. I noticed that I would spend a day, I would wake up and I would go to a national park that I've never been to that's ridiculously beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. But it just feels normal. Like, it doesn't feel out of the ordinary. Like, it became very blasé, right? I think we went to something like 40 states and probably like 50 or 60 national parks.
Wow.
I'd say number one, best place. So top three, I'd say number one is Yosemite. Number two is Zion. Number three, Glacier National Park in Montana.
Nice. Oh,
right?
yeah. I want to go there next.
It's so badass. I would recommend going in the next 10 years, and I'll talk about that later. But so I'd say with all the places I've been so far, Yosemite is the most beautiful place I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Hands down, right?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Did you get blasé when you were living there?
Yes. And it was very frustrating because, I mean, I would be walking to work, right?
Yeah.
And like work was only like a 5-minute walk.
Yeah.
And I'd be walking to work and just like
so I just want to make it clear. So Yosemite National Park is in California. It's a valley, right?
It's a valley, yeah.
So you've got canyons,
it's like a huge, like
3,000-foot granite
huge,
cliffs.
But where I was living was in the valley, like
in the actual valley.
Exactly.
But
in
like
the
you're
valley,
where the tourists go.
Where the tourists go.
Yeah.
I was probably I don't know, 3-minute walk from Lower Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, that's a lie. Probably a 5-minute walk.
Okay, so you're a 5-minute walk from the trailhead of one of the most popular trails.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to get that out. Mm-hmm. So you're 5-minute walk away from work at the Starbucks?
Where I worked was at Starbucks and a restaurant. It was in the same like courtyard.
At the hotel in the valley, right?
Yes.
Okay. How'd you feel on that walk? Because that's
at first the first few like months, like
yeah.
I would walk to work and in awe, just like kind of like holy shit, like am I living right now? Is this real life? You know, and you're looking at everything and everything's fucking incredible. And after a while, you're walking to work kind of like fuck these tourists, like just like sometimes I would be in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And I would tell myself like, bitch, why are you in a bad mood right now? Like, look at where you are. Like, you're literally in the most beautiful place.
One of the best places on earth.
Exactly.
Hands down. Maybe not the best.
And it was very, like I said, was frustrating. But after a while, you kind of ground yourself back and appreciate where you are in life and where you are at that exact moment. And so I had to do a lot of grounding and a lot of, like, groundwork in general. Like, so, but it happened a lot. Blasé. All day.
Yeah. So how long did it take until you actually started becoming like, hey, like this is just like how long did the shock and awe go away? Like how long into it? Like Because obviously, I was there when you first went. It was like we're walking around, and it's just like, wow, I can't believe this place is real.
Exactly.
It looks like a wonderland. When
end.
did you start? Like when was the first day you were just in a shitty mood there?
Well, like I was going through some shit, like relationship wise, and so
with the breakup.
With the breakup,
okay,
yeah,
you're
I
right.
was
Yeah,
going through a breakup while living in Yosemite.
Is that why you? So let's backtrack a little bit. Why'd you even move to Yosemite?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was going through a breakup, and that's when I reached out to you, and I was like, Braden, look, I still have the messages. I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to, find myself again, whatever. And you remember you always saying, like, come out whenever you want. We'll go on a trip, whatever. So I reached out, and you're like, yeah, let's do it. I went out there, and I was still trying to, like, ground myself back to, like, who I was and stuff, because I felt very lost from that breakup. And you helped a lot. And, finding out that I could work in the park, I was kind of like, fuck it, why not? Like, what else do I have going for me? I have nothing holding me back. I now have no boyfriend. I ain't got no kids. Like, nothing, no responsibilities to hold me back from doing this. So why the fuck not? And why wouldn't I move to Yosemite and work? So, yeah, I applied. And a week or two later, they reached out. And I got the job, like, right away. And my life shifted very, very fast. And I was very scared. I was very uncomfortable. I was kind of like, whoa, do I want to do this? Like, maybe I should just stay here. And it didn't help that my grandparents were kind of like not for the idea either. They're kind of like, well, what are you going to do out there? Like, you're just going to be wasting your time. Like, you're going to be doing the same thing you're doing out here over there. And so they're in my ear a little bit, and they, it being dangerous or whatever. And I've moved away from home before. I moved to Miami for like a year and came back, and that was really nice. So I think because I did that, I felt more comfortable making that move. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking go, because fuck it. Why the fuck not? And so I did, and I loved it. But then me and my ex rekindled whatever the fuck that was. And it was fine until it wasn't. And then
obviously, yeah.
Yeah, and then when it wasn't, it was very, very hard. Because like I said, going through a breakup in Yosemite, I would be going to work, feeling so exhausted, crying, like angry, upset, and just be like, why? Like, why can't this, like, I don't want to feel this way. Like, I really don't. Like, please just, like, make this go away, especially seeing everything. And then I lived in, like, a shed pretty much with the roommate.
Yeah.
And so I would find myself stuck in there for like a week, just going straight to work in there. And I felt even more disgusted with myself, because I'm like, bitch,
like, I'm literally living in
one of the most beautiful places, and you're just like crying in your bed.
Yeah,
bitch, get up. Like,
so your living situation was interesting to me. It was called a yurt, right?
A what?
That yurt, I think that's what you called it.
No,
what'd you call it?
It's called a wob.
A wob.
So
it was some word that I've never fucking heard of before.
Sorry, there are apparently it means without bathroom.
Without bathroom. Okay.
Which, I don't know. Could be.
So it's like a lodging, just group bathrooms?
Yeah. So there's different sections, like areas of living and different types of living. I lived in a wob, which is like a cemented, like, shed, like I said. And I had a roommate. Other people, and that area was called Los Dero. Other people lived in Huff, and those people lived in tents, like straight up, like canopy tents, like whatever.
And those are like the seasonal people, right? The people that weren't going to work there full time. The people that were going to.
Yeah. Some people do live like in those all year round for however long. Some people like living in them. And
are they heated?
Some of them are heated, yeah.
But there are some that aren't.
I don't know.
Because I know Yosemite gets cold.
Oh yeah, that gets really
like
cold.
It's a ski resort.
Yeah, an hour
like
away,
in the winter, yeah.
An hour away, it's a ski resort.
Like, I know it's like 5,000 feet of elevation in the Sierra Nevadas. Like, it gets cold in December.
Which was really shitty because, again, the living situation, we didn't have bathrooms. So, like, wintertime comes.
You have to walk to the bathroom.
I had to walk to the bathroom, and I was one of the lucky ones that didn't live too far, like a few, like, steps or whatever. But it was still rough. It was still very rough.
Like trekking through snow.
Exactly.
You put on your snowshoes to go pee real quick.
And your snowshoes, and you're fucking half asleep and look like shit, and you're just, like, walking out, and, like, it's cold as shit, and like you go, it's just not a good time.
So I forgot that I wanted to talk to you about this, but you lived communally, right? Like everyone was lodged in their own little like wob.
Yeah.
Then there's like a communal shower, communal bathroom, communal
everything.
kitchen. How is that? Because, dude, honestly, I think like regular cities should have more communal living.
Yes, but we did have workers who cleaned, like, the kitchens and cleaned the bathrooms and stuff. So that was very helpful.
Yeah.
But it was very frustrating because there's so many people living in like a small space, and not everybody is clean. Not everybody cleans up after themselves.
It's like living with 100 roommates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people will
and
take
some of them
your
suck.
food sometimes.
Yeah.
And you barely have room in the fridge for your stuff. And so it was kind of hard to like eat what you wanted. And like I had a mini fridge at my WOB because I was like, I'm not going out there in the middle of winter.
Did you have that in a bear box?
Huh?
Did you have that in a bear box?
Your
mini fridge?
No, I didn't.
Well, there's bears.
Well, yeah.
Shouldn't you have gotten a bear canister?
We do have a bear box outside our WOB, but I had a.
But you said fuck it.
I said fuck it. Yeah,
it's just black bears. They're not even grizzlies.
It's common. There's a lot of people who have fucking mini fridges in their WOBs.
Did you know a Yeti cooler is a approved bear canister?
A Yeti cooler?
Like, the coolers that like you put your ice in and it lasts like 5 days.
Really?
Yeah, they're
Whoa, nice to know, dude.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck?
They're like legitimate bear like it's rated. This is a bear canister.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like you don't need a bear canister if you have your food in
That's so convenient because literally like that's what you keep your food in. I feel like bear cans are so small. Like
and
the
they're
ones that
weirdly
I've
and awkwardly shaped.
Exactly,
too.
and how are you gonna fit everything? Like you're gonna need like a bunch of those.
It's like $200, but if you had a Yeti cooler, you could have used that. But
exactly.
anyway. I don't want to get too into Yeti coolers, right? Like a good product, but whatever. So I want to talk about like finances specifically because the move that you made, I think, was a really good move. You were you were in debt. And you moved to a place where how much was rent? How much was rent?
Rent was $100 a month.
$100 a month
for me because I lived in a WOB. People who lived in tents, it's cheaper. I paid like $25 a week. Other people who lived in tents paid like $17 a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think what you did is a perfect solution to the situation you were in. How much debt were you in?
Like 10 grand. About.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my car, some tickets, some
Stop
bills,
getting tickets.
medical bills.
Those keep coming up.
I know. So yeah, I had a few things, a credit card, stuff like that. I was very financially like immature, irresponsible. Yeah. Just growing up, like I don't know. I just splurged on all my shit and like acquired it, I guess. But yeah, it was definitely one of the best moves that I've ever made in my life. Like it literally has changed and shaped me into the person that I am today just from making that move. And that was a year and some change ago. And I don't think I've ever grown. Like I've done more growth now in this past year than I've ever had in my life.
It's because you got out of your comfort zone.
Oh yeah, I got out of my comfort zone. I had no fucking way to distract myself from finding myself and from like figuring my shit out, because I feel like being in Vegas I was very distracted very easily. Like I was always occupied by somebody or something, and so moving to Yosemite I had no choice but to focus on me and kind of like some shadow work. But all my life I don't want to say I like blamed other people, but I had excuses. I'm like, oh, well, it's because of this, it's because of that. That's why I'm where I'm at. But when I went to Yosemite, it's like, nah, bitch, like you're by yourself. Like you're, this is you. So like you're the one who's holding your own growth back, and you're the one who's, been doing that. And I had to face that. And so being out there, like I said, just a lot of shadow work and like grounding and figuring my stuff out. And it was probably, the best thing for me.
So if you get hired at, what's the company? Aramark? So if you get hired through Aramark, they'll allow you to live in a WOB for $100, cheaper if you live in a tent. Do they have like a more expensive?
I'm not sure. I think they might, because they do have like apartment style buildings and dorm style buildings.
Those are probably more, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming, but I don't know for sure. But yeah.
But you're getting the California minimum wage, right?
Yeah.
So that was like $12 an hour? And then you're getting tips on top of that?
Yeah.
If you don't mind, how much were you making?
Well, with one job or two jobs? Because I started working two jobs at one point.
Both.
Two jobs?
Yeah.
Like $1,000 and some change. Probably almost $2,000 because.
So like $6,000 a month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost.
So
Right.
really like personal finance, right? I've gotten really into it. And I think the simplest way to sum it all down is like you want to make your money as high as possible, right? But you also want to drop your living expenses as low as possible. That's why I was living in an RV.
Yeah.
Up until tomorrow, by the way, I've got some fun news to tell you about.
Yes.
Fuck it, I'll tell you right now.
Tell me.
So I decided I was just gonna sell the RV.
Yeah, I was very surprised that you're doing that. Cause you've had it for how long?
Like a year and a half. I got it January 2019. But I mean, I'm on unemployment.
Yeah.
And it's expensive living in America, so I'm gonna go to Colombia. Yeah.
Sorry, I like that.
I think like January.
How fun! I have a friend who I met in Yosemite that I got pretty close to. She lives in Colombia, and she showed me pictures, and it's beautiful. Yeah. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, she knows a pretty good amount, so she's gonna take me. The projected time right now is like 4 to 6 weeks, but maybe
it's coming up.
No. We're gonna be there for 4 to 6 weeks.
Time out. Cut the cameras.
Let's go back. Okay. Go ahead.
Didn't you lose your passport?
Yes. Okay. No, I didn't lose it. I'm responsible. It got stolen.
Oh my bad.
Yeah. So that's the big hesitation that we're waiting on right now. Is
question.
What's up?
Can you get it now?
Yeah.
You can get so I can get my passport right now.
You can, yeah.
Because that's literally probably one of my most priorities at the moment. Like I need my passport.
It's actually easier than I thought it was gonna be. Like I was expecting it like when I originally lost it.
You already had yours.
Yeah, right? I lost it like March 20th, like right as everything shut down from coronavirus. So I tried calling and I was like, hey, can I get the passport? And they're like, good fucking luck, dude. Like we might never open up again, dude. We're in a plague, bro. And I was like, shit, well, I guess I'm stuck in America. And it wasn't even a big deal. I was just like, fuck, what if I wanted to go leave the country, you know? Yeah. Like, I can't get a passport?
Yeah, but
that
imagine,
sucks.
like, leaving and, like, getting stuck elsewhere for this long.
I had a friend that was in Costa Rica, like, in March, and they said, like, hey, you've got, like, a week left to leave the country. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck here.
Wow.
Like, we got, like 7 days left of flights to America, and she was like, she was planning to live on a commune.
Dude, and I bet you those fucking tickets were hella expensive.
They were probably cheap.
Really? You think so?
Dude, the airlines, they did not have a lot of people wanting to.
I guess.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. That's crazy.
I mean, I'm gonna interview her. Actually, we're gonna talk about it. But, so I'm gonna go to Colombia for like 4 to 6 weeks. Then after that, I'm gonna go to Thailand, then the Philippines, Vietnam.
So you're gonna start your big travels.
My big travels. Yeah.
Me. I'm literally a month and some change.
Probably like 2 months. So we're gonna be there for 4 to 6 weeks is what we're planning right now. But I'm just gonna be there
exciting.
As long as finances permit. Because there's a lot of dope shit that I want to do there.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what are your plans to over there?
She's making them all. So she's from Colombia. She's from Bucaramanga. Yeah, so she knows a bunch of places. So we're just gonna, it's gonna be super sick. But I was gonna sell the RV to avoid having to pay for the RV while I'm here, right? Like I didn't want to sell the RV, and it took like a couple weeks to like think like, do I really want to do that?
Well, how much do you have left on it?
I owe $21,000 on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much do you pay a month on it?
$300 a month, but then you also got to factor in the insurance. So I was paying like $450 for the combined RV, and if I'm not going to be living in the RV, I don't want to pay that, right? Yeah. So when I'm living in Colombia, I'm not going to bring the RV with me. So I was like, fuck it, all right, I'm going to sell it. So I listed it at $29,995, which was, I thought, a ridiculously high price because when I left, it was worth $27,000.
Oh wow!
When I came back, it actually appreciated $2,000 in value. Wow. Because of the coronavirus, everyone can't travel really on a flight, right? No one thinks it's safe, so everyone's buying RVs. So the demand skyrocketed, so the RV's worth way more. So I listed it at
how much more?
A lot more. So I listed it at $29,000, $5 short of $30,000, right? And I was expecting to have a little wiggle room, like the basically the equivalent of like the Kelley Blue Book value was going to be $29,500. So I was thinking, after negotiations, I'll probably go down to $29,000, right? I had a couple people offer me $24,000, $25,000, $27,000. One guy $28,000. I was like, maybe I'll take that. Let me wait a little bit more. So people started offering me full price.
Ooh.
And then I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Someone was like, hey, I want to come from San Diego. I'll pay full price. And I was like, well, I've actually already got someone else who's going to pay full price, which was like $30,000. And he was like, all right, I'll give you $32,000.
Wow.
$32,500. So I was like, done. So tomorrow I'm going to go to Vegas and I'm going to, I'm pretty positive I'm going to sell it to him for $32,500. I owe $21,000 on it.
Wow. So you're going to keep that.
I'm going to have $11,000 cash in the bank. tomorrow, which is gonna be like ridiculously helpful.
Yeah.
So I want to come back to Zion, or I want to come back to Yosemite, but while I'm fucking already on the flow of it, I'm gonna cash out that money, pay off my debt, obviously, and then after that, I've got enough money to buy a parachute. I'm gonna get into skydiving.
Yes,
finally,
Braden. Do you know how long you've been talking about
this? I've already
this?
got into skydiving, right? Like I've got 53 jumps right now, but like I didn't really get into it.
Yeah.
You know, like 53
full
jumps,
on, like full throttle,
like how
full
Tommy
send
did.
that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking to other people, if you talk to someone that doesn't know much about skydiving, they think like 53 skydives, dude, you must be like an expert at skydiving.
Yeah, but they don't know.
It's like,
I
no.
didn't know until I like asked them and started getting like some info.
Yeah.
And I was pretty surprised because I thought too, even like fucking 30 jumps, I was like, holy shit,
that's
you're
extremely.
a pro. That's why when I
5
texted
jumps
you,
above bare minimum.
Wow.
Like bare minimum A license is 25 jumps, right? I have like I'm very novice at skydiving, and I've been doing it since 2016. So it's been embarrassing, right? I have not been doing it as much as I want to be doing it.
Yeah, you have been doing it that long for a while.
Yeah, I think my first jump was October 23rd, 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I got hired at the place. Let's see, I got hired at Skydive Las Vegas, probably October 2015. Yeah, October 2016. Then 2017, I went through AFF. So it's been over 3 years, and I have not done almost any skydives, and it's embarrassing. But I'm going to get my parachute, and I'm actually going to get into jumping.
Wow.
And I know you did your 2 skydives, and you want to get into jumping as well.
Yes, I do. Dude, I didn't understand, and I don't know if it's because I've had you and Tommy as a friend for a hot minute, and like because skydiving is just like, I don't know, like not that it wasn't exciting, but it was just something I always like heard of like you guys doing. And I didn't, think like too much of it until I ended up just going one day with my Eve, and now I know why you guys do it.
Yeah.
It was one of the most amazing things I've ever experienced. Like, I don't even know how to explain. Like, it was life-changing. Literally, I fucking went through a whole, like, spiritual, like, awakening and death, like, everything in the sky. Like, while I'm in the sky, while I'm falling.
You got 45 seconds to have a spiritual awakening.
Exactly,
hurry up.
Exactly. And it was, like, really, really intense. I loved it, though. Like,
you did your first jump at Vegas, or Go Jump Vegas, right?
Yes, at Go Jump.
Yeah.
That's where we went. Yeah, I went with my Eve and a friend. I was so fucking nervous. I was super nervous. Like,
do you remember who your instructor was?
I feel like I should know this. No, Sammy was the second one. No, I don't know his name.
I haven't worked there in a couple years, but
he was like a very girthy guy and was like a full ass man.
I'll watch your videos after that. That's more for me than the podcast.
Anyways, he the night before, me and my Eve just like couldn't sleep at all. We were kind of like, ooh, that adrenaline was booming, and we ended up getting there, and like the whole process was kind of quick, but also very like, because we were the first ones there. We were the first plane out.
Oh, and nice. Your first load.
Yeah, first load. So it was like early in the morning, got there, boom,
Get
bang.
there at 7 a.m.
Yeah, and so they're ready for us. They're like, let's do this. Getting up the plane and stuff. I was the last one on, meaning I was the first motherfucker out. Okay. Yeah, so that was...
So I actually wish it was the other way around.
I don't know.
Like when someone does their first jump, I want them to see a couple people leaving the plane first.
Oh
that way
God.
they get to see like,
my Eve saw me leave. He was behind me, so he was like, I saw your ass suck.
Exactly. You literally looks like you get sucked out
of the plane into the fucking face of the earth, and I couldn't imagine like seeing him just like sucked out the plane like that. But it was really intense getting up there.
Yeah,
like,
how were you feeling on the plane ride up?
I was really nervous. Like, I even was like, am I allowed to like tap out? Like, am I allowed to be like, look, this ain't it. It says like I can't do it anymore. Like, I'm sorry, I will have a heart attack. But I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I'm living. I just kept telling myself, like, you're living, bitch. Like, be grateful, be present. So I kept just like looking out and like just like grounding myself again, trying to calm myself down.
You're like meditating on the way up.
And then bing, that motherfucking green light goes on, and I was like, ooh.
Green light goes on, door opens, you feel the cold air. Opens,
I was like, which is another thing. I wish I would have wore the suit the first day because I was.
Did you not?
No, I didn't. I was wearing. I don't know what I was wearing, a t-shirt or something.
It's probably cold as fuck.
It was cold as fuck. It was. I wish someone would have told my ass. I wish Tommy would have been like, hey, it's really cold. It's early in the AM. Like, you should probably, wear a hoodie.
Got that
something.
cold desert
air. Are
you
allowed to wear hoodies?
So if you're doing AFF, which is like the school to learn how to go solo, no, you have to wear a shoe up until you get your A license.
Oh, okay.
When you are when you're the student on a tandem, you can wear whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as long as you're like not having a snag hazard.
Yeah.
As long as the instructor can still pull his handles if he needs to, like you're good. Like you can actually even wear a camera if you want.
I could wear my GoPro.
You could wear a GoPro on your chest, but it's not going to show anything. It's just going to show the ground from going small then getting bigger. Yeah. But they would probably get pissed because they make a lot of their money selling you the videos. Yeah. But legally, you can do whatever you want, dude. Wow. You can wear a banana suit if it's not a snag hazard. Yeah.
That's so funny. That's so interesting. I wanted, because that's so funny you said it, because I was telling did I tell my Eve this? I wanted to tell my Eve this, I think. But I wanted to wear like a costume and do a jump this month because we did 2 of them last month. So like, maybe 2 this month too. But if not, definitely like near Halloween and like wear like costumes or something just for the flex of it.
So you've done 2 tandems, right?
2 of them, yeah. So the second one I did it with my sister for her birthday. I took her for her birthday.
That was the last Sunday. It was like near my birthday?
Yes.
Okay. My bad. I would rather have been on a boat.
No
Whoops. The first one though, I always think it's interesting talking to people who just did their first skydive, and obviously we haven't talked since you did it. So how's your heart feeling on the way up?
It was fucking
beating
so hard.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking of I was like feeling that falling feeling, you know, like, and I was like, that's how it's gonna feel, and I'm gonna feel scared, and my ass cheeks are gonna be clenched, and I'm just gonna be like pass out. But no, the fucking green light went on, and they scooted us like out, and he told me to like keep my legs like this out the window, and he's like, I'm gonna rock us on a count of 3, like we're gonna go, and I was like, okay, and so 1, 2, and dude, oh my god, just thinking about it makes me like,
it brings it back, right?
Yeah, it brings it back.
Like it actually gets like the chemicals going.
And right at that moment, I feel that falling feeling, but then after, I felt like, I don't know, I was fucking floating or something. Yeah. I just felt incredible, and like falling, it wasn't what I thought it was. Like, it wasn't scary. It wasn't like that falling feeling, but it was like intense still. And like, I just felt so like alive. Like literally, I've never felt so more like alive than I ever have. So falling for that, 45 seconds or something like
45
that?
45 to 55, depending when they pull.
Yeah, falling was like crazy. And then he starts like doing like,
did you do like barrel rolls?
I don't know if he did barrel rolls, but like I think
just
like,
turns.
Turning, and I was just like fucking flying around. And then comes a parachute, and that part, I didn't like that part. That moment of him pulling it, because I wasn't prepared. He pulled it, and I feel like I fucking jolted my ass. Right? Yeah, and my like little whiplash, not gonna lie. So, you know, he pulls it. I was like, oh fuck, like that kind of hurt. Like my bad. And
that means the parachute packer did a shitty job.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You can change that the way you pack it, but yeah.
So then he pulls the fucking parachute, and that hurted. But then afterwards, we're fucking gliding, and I don't know if that's how like being up in a hot air balloon feels like just kind of like floating in the fucking air.
This is when you're under the parachute, right?
Yeah. So you're just fucking floating, and then he lets me like control it a little bit, and like starts doing turns, and I'm fucking like zooming.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. And the landing was super. I think that part was more kind of like nerve-wracking for me.
Because you see the ground coming towards you.
You see it, and I was kind of like, oh fuck. And he was like, lift your legs, be ready. But we actually landed perfectly. Like we didn't fall, and we like landed on our feet. Yeah. So it was like really cool that my instructor like landed us for my first time like that. My second time totally ate shit.
Really?
Not like completely ate shit, but yeah, we like
a slide in landing.
Slide in a little bit. But afterwards, I want to say like an hour and a half later, right after we jumped, because it was still early, we're like, oh, let's go grab a bite to eat. So we went and got something to eat. And then we ate, everything was fine. We're driving back to my Eve's house, and I'm in the car, and I feel so sick. Like I was
dizzy,
like everything. Like I felt nauseous, sick. I wasn't like, I was very like this, and my Eve was even like
Like,
bitch,
are you all right?
like, yeah, like fuck. I was pale, like everything, and I like could not function. I was like, I need to go to sleep. So I fell asleep, and I felt a little bit better after. But even after, like I just felt so weird. But someone, I forgot who told me that it's because my body's not used to adrenaline, like that much adrenaline. Yeah.
You're not used to that?
Not that much? No way,
so.
dude. Not everybody's Braden Sky. No, yeah, I've never.
I got my adrenaline pumping before we even started this podcast.
Oh yeah, that shit was pumping, all right. No,
okay, let's keep going. You're sick.
Sick as fuck, and it lasted a while up until the next morning. I even still was a little dizzy and stuff, but it went away. My second jump I was fine though, and I was wondering if it was because like what I ate or like. I don't know what the combo. Me and my did take a drop of THC, so maybe that's why.
Probably what it was. Yeah. I think skydiving is one of those things like you can do it sober. It's plenty. Yeah,
because we were so nervous, we were like, you know what, like fuck it, like calm the nerves.
Yeah.
And it did, but
that's probably what fucked you up, if we're being honest. Yeah.
So maybe.
So you got sick afterwards, but you still thought it was good enough to go do a second one?
Hell yes, absolutely. Even if I got sick again and I was like, fuck it, I don't even give a fuck.
That's just part of
it's part of the experience. Yeah, it's fine. We'll be okay.
So you're gonna get into it. You're gonna get your A license. You're gonna start jumping.
Yes, I want to. But I like, you know how you did it. How you said like you didn't do shit. Like you only did like it periodically for so many years. I don't want to do that. I want to fucking just boom, get it. You know. Yeah. So I was thinking maybe next spring or.
You got to save up a lot of fucking money, dude. It's expensive.
I heard it's like a few racks.
AFF is gonna cost you $2,000. So you know how it works, right?
I thought it was $3,000.
No, it'd be $3,000 for your A license. Do you know the license system?
No, I was gonna ask you to explain. Actually,
too easy. Just in case anyone listening wants to know about how skydiving works. So, I did 4 tandems before I started AFF.
Tandems is when you're going with a person.
With someone else. Yeah, tandem means like combined. So you're with someone else. Obviously, we're fucking learning about vocabulary today. I didn't know that before skydiving.
What was
Don't
it?
worry.
Razors? No, I'm just kidding.
So I did 4 tandems, which I think is more than enough. I think 2 tandems, honestly, is the perfect amount, right? Like after your second tandem skydive, they're both belly rides. The whole time you understand what to do. I'd say maybe do 1 more tandem, but let them know you're thinking about doing AFF, and then see if they'll let you pull the parachute for yourself.
By myself.
So
like
they'll
be
with me. They'll be strapped with you. Like you'll do a tandem, but say, hey, let me get more experience under canopy and let me pull the parachute. And if they're cool,
is
they
the
probably
parachute
will.
kind of like a hard thing to pull? You kind of gotta.
No. So it's different for student rigs versus tandem rigs. Tandem rigs has a drogue parachute. I'm getting a little bit technical. Let me know if this.
Fine. No, I'm trying to keep up.
So tandem rigs have a drogue chute, which is basically a small. So a pilot chute is a small parachute that helps you open your big parachute. When you throw when you're in a sport rig, which is like a regular parachute. Like when you're solo, you pull out your pilot chute, and then it's a small little parachute. That small little parachute catches the air, and it blows it out. And then that's the pilot chute's attached to a bridle, which is like a long ribbon that has your pulling pin or your closing pin. The closing pin comes undone, parachute opens, right? I'm going way too technical right now.
Yeah, it kind of lost me a little bit.
I'm going way too technical for both you and anyone listening. So I'll keep it simple.
Okay.
For your tandem rig, there's a little golf ball attached to a string. You pull that golf ball. You don't need a lot. You need maybe 2 pounds of pressure, and then the parachute opens.
Okay.
So go there, ask them if they can do that. Like, hey, can you let me pull my own parachute? Like, obviously you throw your drogue, but can I pull the parachute? Let me know when.
You throw what?
So the drogue parachute is what the instructor is going to throw.
So that's that little small white one,
the
right?
white thing that covers
like,
above you. Yeah. So pretty much what that does, it just makes it to where it slows you down, because otherwise you're just a combined weight of, if you have 250-pound people, you got 300 pounds of body weight.
Yeah. That's
going to be a hard opening. So what that does just makes the opening softer.
Okay. So that pulled right away, like when you
right as they clear the plane. I think it's like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3.
Boom.
Yeah, pretty much right as they're out of the plane, away from the plane and stable, they throw that out.
Okay.
Because they don't want you picking up any speed, because otherwise it's gonna hurt.
Ooh, with the thought. Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
I mean, otherwise it would
yeah,
you would actually get whiplash if they didn't have that. I think, but I'm not fully sure. You could ask Tommy. He knows more than I do. But you say, hey, can I throw my own parachute? And can I handle the toggles? And they probably will. After that, you go through a school. It's called AFF, Advanced Free Fall. So you do 6 hours of ground school. They sit there at the drop zone in the packing room, and they show you
everything.
Here's what a landing pattern is. Here's what to do with your emergency procedures.
I can't wait to like know these things, because these are things that I've wondered. Literally in the sky, I'm like, I think I even asked like the last guy that I jumped with. I was like, do you guys have like ways that you like?
There's a landing pattern.
There's a landing pattern, and there is, and I was I don't know. This is so interesting.
For students, it's a pretty simple J. So you start the landing pattern at 1,000 feet, then you do your downwind at 1,000 feet. Then you either do it left or right, depending on where the landing pattern is. The person below you sets that. Then you turn on to your base, which is another at 900 feet or no 600 feet. You turn on to your base. Then at 300 feet, it's just like a plane. At 300 feet, you turn on to your final approach, your final. And that's when you're facing into the wind, and the wind helps you slow down the parachute. Yeah. That way you have a softer landing. So you do pretty much like a J pattern. They'll teach you all that in ground school. But you do your ground school.
Ground school?
I mean, I've got my A license already. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did my ground school. Probably not how I should have. I did it right after working like 48 hours straight. So I was like chugging coffee, just like trying to stay awake to what he's saying. He's like,
the way you are.
Yeah. Well, it was when I was doing final source.
Sober
and
October.
Yeah, I'm sober October. Fucking a caffeine addict, but I didn't have a lot of sleep, so recommend get some sleep. Don't do any THC, don't do any CBD, don't drink the night before. Go in sober, obviously.
Yeah.
Then after ground school, they send you up for your first level of AFF. So AFF is 8 levels. AFF level 1, you have your own parachute, and you have 2 instructors. The 2 instructors are holding on to you as you jump out of the parachute, or as you jump out of the plane.
So you
So you have your own parachute. They have their own parachutes. They're not attached to you.
Yeah.
But they're holding on to you.
But you're all at the edge of the plane together.
Yeah. So you're all at the edge of the plane together. And you go ready, set, go. Then you all jump together. Then they basically help you stabilize. All you have to do for AFF level 1. Yeah,
my hands are sweaty.
Adrenaline pumping, right? My hands are literally sweating. Yeah, you can probably see it on camera.
I love it.
But that's just talking about a belly dive too. I need to get back into skydiving. It's been over almost a year since I've done it.
You have to do something like a current, right?
Recurrency,
yeah.
Yeah, but Tommy's actually going to help me out with my currencies. He's going to save me like $100.
Cool.
And then I've got, we were talking way more about skydiving this episode than I was planning, but it's cool. So pretty much you do 8 levels where you show your progression. The first level, all you have to do is basically show that you're stable in the air and that you're competent.
And you're not like freaking out.
You're not freaking out. You're not like panicking. You're not going cannonball. Basically, AFF 1 is showing that you're safe in the air. Yeah. You're showing that you're safe. You're relatively staying on heading. You're not spinning. You're not spiraling out of control. Basically, you're in control. All you need to do for AFF 1 is you need to be in control, and you need to pull your own parachute and land. And they have a helmet with radio, and your instructors land before you do. Then they tell you through the radio. It's like a one-way radio.
So though, how is that if you all fell together?
Well, so they pull at a lower altitude.
Oh, okay.
So they pull at a lower altitude, then they pull their parachutes, and parachutes work by like a parachute size to body weight ratio. So generally, when you're more experienced, you want to go with a smaller parachute. That way, you have more controllability over it. So they pretty much just do spirals, and they have a lighter wing loading, so their parachute goes down a lot faster than you do. You're flying a boat. You're flying like a 300 square foot parachute during AFF. It's huge.
A fat one.
Yeah, you're flying a flat boat. You're barely sinking. Like you're going mostly forward, a little bit down. They're going mostly down, a little bit forward. So they land before you. They get on the radio. It's a one-way radio. They say like, "Hey, Chantelle, can you hear me? If you can, do a 90-degree left turn." And when they see you do a 90-degree left turn, they're like, "All right, cool. Now, turn right and go to the place where we told you is the holding area, and go there and set up for your landing pattern." They basically guide you on, and they're like, once you get to like 30 feet, they're like, "All right, now start your flare, do your first half flare, and then finish your flare. Boom, you landed safe. Great." So they help you up with that.
Wow.
AFF level 8, you're doing front flips out of the plane.
What? That's so exciting.
Like literally in 8 jumps, you go from, learning how to just be stable
to fucking doing some crazy ass shit. What's the craziest thing you've done?
I mean, I've got 50 jumps. I haven't really done anything crazy. I think the most fun jump I did was it was like a 5-way. So it's like 5 people at the edge of the plane, and we're all holding on to each other. Then someone goes ready, set, go, and we all jump at the same time, holding on to each other. And then we're in the sky. What was supposed to happen if I wasn't a shitty skydiver is we would all be holding on to each other, and we're like, yeah, smiling at the GoPro, getting ready for the fucking 1,000 likes on Instagram. I sucked, so I sank below the formation. You'll learn what that means later, but yeah, I mean, 50 jumps, not good.
We're still learning.
Yeah. Tommy was telling me a thing that he likes to do. And it is safe, by the way, because you have an AAD. They'll teach you what that is in AFF. But it's a machine that pulls your parachute if you don't. So he was telling me he had a thing he liked to do. Free fall is about like 45 to 60 seconds, right? He would jump out of the plane and do a cannonball and close his eyes and keep them closed and count to 30.
Oh my God.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. And he was like, once I hit like 25 or 26 or 27, dude, my adrenaline's fucking pumping.
Oh,
Then once he hits 30, he would open his eyes, stabilize, check his altitude, then pull his parachute depending on his altitude, or just fly around for a little bit. He had plenty of time, but I was like, dude, that sounds so fucking scary, bro.
Yeah, that's like gambling your life.
You're really not. It is really safe, but it feels like it because you're falling through the sky and you have no clue where you're at. And you're like, am I counting slow? Am I counting fast? So that's one of the craziest things that he's done. I haven't done anything crazy. I've done very basic jumps, very basic belly jumps.
Yeah.
After you do your AFF, you need 25 jumps to get your A license. Once you get your A license, you're a skydiver, right? That's when you can go solo. That's when you can go to different drop zones. There's some drop zones that need a B license. There's some drop zones that need a C license. But generally, once you get your A license, that's when, hey, we're not going to baby you anymore. You're an adult. Go on the plane and don't die, right? Like responsibility is in your hands right now.
Yeah.
You have to check your spot when you leave the plane. You have to make sure that, the plane's going in the direction of where you want to land, right? Like, that's on you. If you fuck that up, you fuck that up. You've got your own parachute. There's no one telling you that you can't jump, right? Like, if you want to do backflips the whole jump, that's on you. Just don't hurt anyone else. So that's when you're, like, an actual skydiver. That's at 25 jumps. When you get your B license, is 50 jumps. C license is 200 jumps. When you get your C license, that's when you can do your wingsuit. That's when you can do base jumping, recommended. That's when you can put on a GoPro. You can't put on a GoPro until 200 jumps.
Wow.
Unless you're the student of a tandem, then you can because you're not controlling it, but they probably won't let you.
Wow.
Then D license is 500 jumps. That's when you can become professional.
Wow.
Yeah.
And each jump is like, what, 200?
Once you get your license and once you get
Does it become cheaper?
It becomes way cheaper.
Nice.
Once I get my parachute, which I'm going to soon.
When you have your parachute, because you don't have to
you don't have to pay for rentals, dude. Literally, it's like $25 a jump.
You know how to pack your own parachute and everything.
Well, you actually learn that before you get your A license, you have to prove that you can pack your own parachute.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Is that complicated? I watched them do it, and I was like,
you get used to it.
Looks like a lot of things to remember.
I could do it with my eyes closed. I've done it so much. It's like I could be 90 with dementia and I'd still remember how to pack a parachute.
Memory.
Like it's just such muscle memory. Like, all right, let me straighten out the lines. Cool. Let me put the riser over here. Let me shake out the parachute. But
when you first started packing parachutes, was it a little nerve wracking? Because you're like, fuck, this is.
Well, I actually had a cool situation because I went to, I got a job at Skydive Las Vegas because they were looking to hire parachute packers. So how I got into skydiving, I wanted to learn how to skydive, right? I decided I want to be a skydiver. I want to do my own jumps. I want to jump by myself.
Yeah.
So I went to the drop zone. It was Vegas Extreme. Now it's Go Jump. And I actually, literally just on a whim, I just drove to the drop zone. I'm like, I'm going to find out how to do this. I've been thinking about it for 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
I remember.
Yeah. So I go to the drop zone, and I actually find the dude that did my jump. Kevin. I forget what his last name is, but his first name's Kevin. I find him, and I recognize him. He obviously doesn't recognize me because he does, 10 jumps a day. But I was like, yeah, so you did my jump. How do I get into skydiving? And he laid out the groundwork for me. He's like, here's how I did it. I started by getting hired at a drop zone, packing parachutes. Then they would give me like 1 or 2 free skydives every day.
Wow.
And I did that.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if you work at a cool drop zone, they'll do that. It's hard to find, but if you work at a really cool drop zone, they'll give you a free load every day. And I did that up until I got 500 skydives. And he pretty much laid out for me what I just laid out for you. You know, A license, B license, C license, D license. And he's like, once I got my D license at 500 jumps, I just got my tandem rating, became professional, got hired as a professional skydiver. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And I was like, all right, first step, I need to get hired as a parachute packer. Mm-hmm. So I go on Craigslist and I'm like, how to get hired as a parachute packer. There's like 2 drop zones. There's 3 now, but there was 2 drop zones within like a couple hour drive. Mm-hmm. There was one in Boulder City and the one that you went to over in Jean. The one in Boulder City was actually hiring at that moment. So I went in there like that day. Here's my resume. You know, let me get this job. And they were like, all right, it's gonna be like $100 for us to teach you how to pack a parachute. It's like a 5-hour course. We'll teach you how to do it. It's like $100. And I was like, done. Here you go. So I do that. Then they teach me how to pack, basically, packing tandem rigs because it was just a tandem factory. They didn't have any fun jumpers there. Fun jumpers being like the solo jumpers. It was all tandems because that's where the money is. And that's also where the liability isn't because tandems are totally safe. Fun jumpers, that's where shit starts getting dangerous. So I learned how to pack, and they're paying me $5 per parachute to pack the parachute, which is egregiously low. It was taking me like an hour to pack each parachute.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy
that's
low.
Like...
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid. Like, I was getting paid $5 per hour. They had the pay system. We'll pay you $5 per parachute, no matter how long it takes you to pack one. Then, if you can even last a month, we'll give you $7 per parachute. Like after a month, we'll give you a raise to $7.
I mean, that's still not much.
It's not a lot, especially because I was not a fast packer. I never was a fast packer. And then they said if you get a senior parachute rigger certificate, which is like $2,000, then we'll give you $10 per rig. So I was like, let's do that. So after a couple months, I paid like $2,000 to get my certification. And at like 3 days after I paid that $2,000, non-refundable, they were like, hey, winter's coming. You're laid off. And I was like, I fucking hate working here anyway. I don't even want to work here.
Wow.
Like, I'm glad you guys laid me off. Fuck you. So I go into, and this is one of the cool synchronicities that I've experienced.
Love those.
My plan, I literally had it written on like a whiteboard, like how you have over there. I had it written on a whiteboard. I'm gonna get hired as a parachute packer by February 19th, 2018 at Vegas Extreme Skydiving. And I had that, like, I would try to like manifest that every day. And I just kept reading that like affirmation, whatever it's called. So I get laid off on probably like a Saturday. I call them and I say, hey, are you guys hiring parachute packers? They're like, no. And I was like, I'm going to fucking drop off my resume anyway. And I was just thinking, like, every week I'm going to drop off a resume. And eventually they're going to hire me. So on the Monday, I throw on like a button-up shirt and I walk in. I'm like, hey, what's going on? I was super nervous, by the way, because this is my dream job. And I'm going to meet the boss for the first time.
Yeah, but fucking props to you, because who has the balls to just think of their dream job and then just like consistently go after it like that? Like, it's
all I've done throughout my entire life.
I know, and
I
it's
can't
inspirational
not do it.
And probably why like I do that too, because I've seen it in the flesh. Like, I've seen you do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I know it's possible. And like, I
get ideas in my head and I can't think about anything else until I do it. One of the examples was starting this podcast.
That's powerful.
Dude, I was literally wanting to start this podcast for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And at least once a day I would think, like, when I start my podcast, it's going to be like this. So thank you for being guest number 2. But I go...
I'm honored to be guest number 2.
number 2.5.
We won't
so
talk about that.
I go to the drop zone and I'm like, here's my resume. I'm working on my senior parachute rigger certificate, and I've got probably a couple hundred parachutes packed. And he's like, hey, listen, dude, I don't fucking care. Can you pack a parachute? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, go pack a parachute then. So I go into the packing room, and he watches me pack a parachute, and he's like, all right, that hopefully won't kill anyone. And he's like, listen, yesterday, our old parachute packer broke his leg skydiving. Did a low turn. He's out. We don't have any parachute packers today. And we have 10 parachutes.
Wow.
I could hire you right now if you want to pack those 10 parachutes. And I was like,
wow.
Oh my fucking God. Did I really just get hired on the spot? And I was like,
divine timing.
Dude, it was so crazy.
Yes.
Like it literally just felt like divine timing. And I was like, hold on. So you're one parachute packer.
Just broke his fucking leg.
He can't work starting yesterday. And I came in today. Like, wow, that's so crazy. So I started packing there. And I did that for like 6 months until I had the opportunity to be the CEO of the production company. CEO. And I was more of a manager, if we're being honest. The manager of a production company. But I had the title CEO that I appointed to myself.
But
I had a business card that said CEO, but I was like a general manager. Still cool, but yeah. So I pretty much, that's really what got me to stop skydiving. And then after that, I mean, I would occasionally skydive, but I think I've got a really good feeling that like now is the time that I'm going to really get back into it.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you keep on doing it, even me, we're just going to keep on doing it too.
Yeah. So does Maeve want to get into it too?
He does. Like, because like after we went skydiving the first time, we were like, now what?
Yeah.
Now what is on our like fucking bucket list? And he's like, bitch, why won't we just fucking get the license? I'm like, why not? So that's what our new goal is.
Here's what I would expect. I would expect $2,000 to get your AFF.
Sounds about right.
Another $1,000 to get your A license.
Okay.
So $3,000 to be able to get the USPA card that says, hey, I'm a skydiver.
Yeah.
Once you get that, then, hey, you're a skydiver. You can go to a bunch of different drop zones. I'd recommend just going to Go Jump because I like that place.
Yeah, I know. I love it. It's
cool people,
very
right?
chill, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to any other place, but
Lake
I want to go
dope.
to the, where's the other one? Oceanside? Right?
Oceanside, yeah.
That's their other one, right?
Yeah. You need to have a B license to go there because it's really windy because it's near the ocean, but yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Fuck, do you, like, jump by the ocean?
I haven't yet. I don't have my B license yet.
Over there, like, is there a drop zone?
They land and they could take off their parachute and walk to the beach if they wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah, like literally, like it's like
what a life.
Half of the view is California, the other half is the ocean.
That's what else is like super exciting about doing this is that once you have your shit, you can fucking jump anywhere, can't you? Like, imagine just jumping in the most beautiful places ever where they have drop zones. Like, not many people can do that. Like,
so you're living in southern Utah now, right?
Yes.
This place is badass.
It's pretty badass.
Dude, I didn't realize how cool southern Utah is.
Yeah.
There's a place that has, so you know how like all the rocks here are like red, orange, and white and everything? There's another place, there's a drop zone similar to the biome here where you have just like a bunch of cliffs and everything's like red and white and everything. Skydive Moab. I'm going to go check the place out. Once I get my own gear and once I'm more current, but you could jump and see Canyonlands National Park and Arches National Park from the sky, plus a ton of really cool canyons.
My
and
gosh, that sounds
Skydive
so
Hawaii,
good.
you can see, I mean, the islands and the water. Like, there's so many cool places to skydive. It's a really cool thing to do, and it's fucking awesome. It's such a unique, cool view. Like for me, the best part, or one of the best parts, there's a lot of good parts.
Oh yeah,
all of it is the good There's part. A lot of best parts, but like I noticed this a lot at Lake Elsinore. I would throw my parachute, and you know, my parachute comes out. I check my altimeter. I'm like, all right, I got a couple thousand feet to spare before I have to start setting up my landing pattern. I'm already near the holding area. I'm near where I need to be to start my landing pattern, and I just look around, and there's like, I'm 3,000 feet above the ground, and I'm flying a fucking. I'm flying a piece of nylon with some strings on it, and like there's a lake right here, and there's houses right here and roads, and you can see the highway. You can see cars driving on the highway.
So it's like a different point of view in life.
It feels so fucking cool. And what's really cool is whenever I'm up there, I get so like it might not surprise you because you've done a couple of jumps, but it might surprise some of the people listening. I get emotional. I feel so present when I'm up there, and I'm just looking around.
So alive.
And I'm like alive. Like I feel so like.
You've never felt so alive, and that I get emotional too. Yeah. Like literally, like want to cry in the air. Like crying in the air. No.
But like I'll be under a parachute. I'm looking around, and like it feels really good because I'm like, wow, this is exactly what I wanted. Like I'm flying a Sabre 2. I'm in Lake Elsinore. Like everything that I've been working.
I feel like sorry.
You have like a minute or two to realize like, wow, everything that I've been working towards is right now, and I'm looking around, and I think it's kind of similar to like a musician when they go on like on stage for their big gig. You know, it's like wow, like all this work led up to this, And it feels so cool. And I think you're really going to feel that when you go for your A license, because it's going to be like, wow, I
did this. I
up did here. This. Like your first solo jump, like AFF level 1, after you land, like after you do your debriefing and everything, and you have time to like check in with yourself, you're going to be like, oh my God, I just landed a parachute. Like when you do a tandem, like someone else is landing the parachute for you, right? When you do your first jump, it's like, I landed this parachute. And then when you do jump 26, your first jump after you get your A license, like you stick your head outside the plane and you're looking at the ground, and it's 100% on you. Am I gonna be able to land this parachute where I want to? And you check the ground and you're like, I think it looks good. And you jump out and you're solo and you're just in the sky by yourself. Then you pull your parachute works great. You check your altimeter, go over the holding area. And when you land, you're like, dude, wow. I just did
fucking landed
I just
that
did
shit.
that. Like, I know how to do that now.
jumped out of a plane, a perfectly fine plane. I just jumped out of it.
It's super cool.
Landed a parachute.
I would be really stoked if you got into it.
When the second time that we went, there's a girl that was packing parachutes, and she was like not older lady, but like older than I am. And
Debbie, was she blonde?
No, I don't think so. But she was super chill. We got along very great. And she was just like, yeah, dude. She's like, surprisingly, she said she doesn't like skydiving that much. Like, she doesn't like being up in the air that much. She enjoys being like, around. I don't know. But
actually,
anyway,
it doesn't surprise me, dude. The drop zone's a fucking amazing vibe to be near.
Yeah. So, she told me, she's like, yeah, you really should get into it. There's not many girls in this, I don't know if she called sport, but she's like in this sport. You should do it.
Hobby.
It's very male dominant, and just hearing that, I was like, that makes me want to do it more.
You should.
Like, that makes me want to like.
It depends on the drop zone. I've heard Oceanside, there's a lot of girls. But
good for them.
It definitely is more male dominated.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's more guys that can do it than girls.
It's pretty badass if you ask me. Like,
so here's something that actually might surprise you, and this is one of the big reasons that I stopped skydiving. Like my very last jump 53, I was bored.
Wow. What is it called? Blazers?
Blase.
Yeah,
this is what I want to like segue back into Yosemite, but I was in the air and I was just doing a recurrency jump, so I just wanted to jump just to maintain my currency so I can continue jumping. I jumped. I just did a belly jump, which is where you're just flying on your belly. And I was like, all right, I'm just flying, just flying. Then I checked my altimeter. All right, I got like 5,000 more feet till I pull my parachute. Just flying. And I did I got 5,000 feet left. I did a front flip, and I'm like, all right, 4,000 feet left. Do a couple back flips, but I was bored because there was really no like goal to accomplish, and it felt very blasé. It's interesting.
That is interesting. Because, again, one of the most amazing things you're ever doing, you're literally in the sky.
You're skydiving.
Flying.
Yeah.
And how could, like, the fact that you're feeling blasé is just, like, I don't know.
Let's talk about Yosemite.
Okay.
I keep wanting to say Yellowstone. I get them confused. But let's talk about Yosemite and being blasé. Because remember you telling me, like, hey, I don't remember whether you tell me or whether I asked you or whether I was just thinking about it. But, like, how many times did you do the same hike in Yosemite?
Probably 5 to 10 times.
Like 5 to 10 times each hike?
Yeah.
Like, let's say Upper Yosemite, you did that 5 to 10 times?
5 times, yeah.
So the first time, do you think was the best?
No.
Really?
Yeah. I was dying. We were not prepared, Braden.
Okay, so yeah, the first time you were with me. So let's say like usually where I was going with that. I'm not trying to get you to like blow smoke up my ass. Like, yes, the first time I did was the best because I had your amazing company. No, it's like
no.
The first time you do a trail, for me, I've noticed is usually the most I enjoy it because I'm discovering new things.
Oh, okay.
Like we were planning to spend the last 3 days in Zion. Now we're here in some fucking small town in Utah in your bedroom with a population of 600, which I want to get to too, but like yeah, dude, you have more people in the cemetery across the street than the people actually living in the town. But we were planning to go to Zion, and I mean, Narrows is closed, Angel's Landing is closed, and
all the good shit.
All the good shit's closed, so I didn't want to go. But and it was a good thing because we went to Kanab, and Kanab is like
tight.
It's a dope fucking city, and also Have you been to? Never mind. I'll talk about that, but I want to finish my point.
Okay.
We went to Zion, and for me at least, I've been there so many times where I wasn't really enjoying it for what I think it is. Like, I'd say it's the second best national park in the continental U.S.
And my first love. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been to Sequoia yet. We're going in a couple of days.
Ooh,
We're so stoked. So stoked.
So
but I'm also so stoked. It's going to be the celebration for selling the RV is going to Sequoia because we both wanted to go for a long time.
Fuck it. I might quit my job and go with you.
Do it. You just got to bring your own car because we tried sleeping 3 people in the car. Doesn't work.
In that little car? Yeah.
3 people. Not. 2 people is great. 2 people is amazing. One
cozy.
person, also cozy. 3 people.
It's a little sweaty.
Little claustrophobic. Yeah, you get some sweat from multiple people on you. It's like, it's.
Yeah, I sleep like a starfish. So
it's hard to see. Like, I mean, are we cuddling? Are we not cuddling?
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna cuddle with Alan? Like, come here, Daniel. Don't be so afraid to sleep near me.
Turn
like,
that ass over here.
I'll be big spoon. I'll be little spoon. What do you want?
What you like?
But I've noticed with Zion. I'm already so blasé about it, and it's interesting.
Dude, let me tell you something about blasé. I drive to Vegas a lot, I think, because even though, I mean, it's kind of like 3 hours.
About that, yeah.
Yeah, but Yosemite was like goddamn near 9 hours if Tioga Pass wasn't open, which would make it 7 hours. But I missed home a lot. I was at home so homesick a lot. So I think the fact that I'm only like a few hours away makes me like feel like comfortable doing that drive to see or hang out with my Eve or see my family and stuff like that. So but I drive, the first hour of driving to Vegas is all Zion, like all through the park,
all through the 9, right?
And so like it's just more annoying than anything sometimes because of all the fucking turns and shit, which also again I have to check myself whenever I do feel blasé. So like I hope that you do that. Yeah. How do you do that? Like,
the way I do it is normally when I'm feeling blasé, I'm listening to like a podcast or I'm listening to like an audiobook or I'm learning about politics or I'm learning about something that's different from what's going on right now. What I've noticed is if I want to assist myself into becoming in the present moment, just throw on some music. Lo-fi. Or like let's say I'm listening to current events. I'm listening to news about Trump and the coronavirus, right? If I'm driving through Zion, which we actually did this morning because I thought you lived in Springdale. If I would have known you lived 20 minutes away from Canal, we would have just done this last night. But yeah. I had plenty of energy last night. With Sober October, no caffeine. Not as much energy today. A lot more down than yesterday. We were driving through on the I-9, which I'm like, dude, this is one of the prettiest drives.
Yeah.
Like going into Zion from the east entrance, I'm like, this is unbelievable. But I was listening to some fucking podcast, and it takes me out of the present. You know, like it's cool to drive when I'm driving on some highway that doesn't matter. But if I'm driving through a place where I want to be present, throw on a Zed's Dead mix.
That's funny because music actually like is opposite for me. Like
really,
yeah, well, not all music, I guess I should say. When I'm trying to focus in and ground myself and be present, I listen to lo-fi hip-hop or lo-fi, you know, something without words, something without much memory, because I feel like songs for me hold a lot of memory and like hold a lot of like, you know, just like emotion for me. And maybe I just feel too deeply, feel too much, but I try not to listen to like music with words, I guess, and it definitely helps because I just am like present in the car.
What about house music?
I can fuck with some house music. House music will make me dance and be present, so I guess so. I guess house music counts.
What about trance?
I don't really like trance.
Not yet. I'll send you some songs.
I mean, I'm not like opposed trance. To it. I guess I don't like look it up. I don't know any artists. I don't.
By tomorrow morning, I promise you will like trance. I will force that upon you.
All right. I'm not down.
So you're living in Yosemite.
Like a year and some change.
Would you say that's a good or a bad experience? Like out of 10, where would you rate that experience?
A solid 9.
Okay.
And only a point away because of the shit that I was personally going through.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's go straight pros and cons. What are the pros of living in Yosemite?
Living in Yosemite?
Obviously, yeah. I mean, besides the obvious pro.
Oh, sorry. The experience, obviously. The people. You make a lot of new friends, a lot of like-minded individuals, like a lot of weird people.
A lot of nature lovers.
There's all kinds of people. You, not only like people that live in the valley, but tourists like when it was
really?
like up and popping. Yeah,
Okay.
you meet so many people, like cool people, people who just like different types, you know. Cons, living with people that you don't know.
Living communally, yeah.
Yeah, living communally. I don't want to say the winter because like there's pros and cons to the winter, but yeah, I guess the way you were living over there, the winter sucked.
Living in a shed in the winter when it's snowing, I could see how it's not.
And it was a little depressing because like there's a whole like world out there of like nature and beautifulness and like, but it's all covered in snow, and I don't like the cold that much. Like my body hurts. I'd rather not.
We're both from Vegas. Me too.
Exactly.
Not
so
super into the cold.
for a while I was in my WAP watching movies, just like reading, painting, doing things, but it kind of got depressing because you're in a small ass space, especially even being in this room. Like it's a little bit bigger, but like even then being stuck in like one area, especially with another person, like another energy, which was also kind of hard given my roommate was one of my coworkers, and so I got to feel her out first, and I asked her to move in because I moved in with like a different roommate to begin with. She left, and so I needed a roommate, and like they'll throw anybody in with you, like they don't care, like
yeah, like, just pick a name out of a hat.
Exactly. They're like, here you go.
Here's Susie.
Exactly.
Be friends with her for the next 9 months. And then you and Susie
don't fucking get along, and you over there being like...
Sucks to suck.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, luckily I knew my roommate beforehand, so I asked her to move in, and it was very nice. Like we got along very well. She even got a dog, and like I helped raise it in the beginning, and it was like beautiful. Anyway.
So I've noticed when I go to national parks, and also if I go to amusement parks, and if I go to anywhere where the guests are having fun and the employees may or may not be having fun, like let's say Disneyland would be the perfect example.
Yeah.
The employees there fucking hate it, and they're all miserable. I've noticed at a lot of the national parks I've been to, it's either like 50-50.
Yeah. Oh,
either the people are like, I'm so grateful to be here, you know, this place is awesome.
Over it.
And there's the people that are just straight over it. Where were you on that spectrum, and where were the people you were with?
Where was I on that spectrum?
Were you over it, or were you like happy to be there? No,
it fluctuated. Definitely. Yeah. It fluctuated.
What caused the fluctuations?
People. Just like the way they acted, like people that you worked with, like especially because you're not like, you see the same people that you live with, like in the same area at work. So it's just like, I don't know, it's just kind of like weird. Also, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of fucking, there's a lot of drugs, like drinking, like all types of shit too, which is also a different part of Yosemite that I
But is that with the guest, or is that with the people you're with?
That's people in the valley. And so that was also something.
The coworkers.
I mean, not even coworkers, but just people in the valley, people that worked at the store that you always go to, that you see when you go get food, like, and people you work with.
Do the guests piss you off?
Yeah, absolutely.
I could totally see that, especially at like one of the bigger parks. Like, I
think any place of like customer service people just are fucking at.
Any Starbucks in the country, you're gonna have some shitty people,
and especially Starbucks in the only national park ever. Like,
I feel like there was another national park that had a Starbucks.
Oh,
I don't remember which one.
I didn't know that.
Which other national park had a Starbucks? I don't remember. I remember Hot Springs National Park had a brewery inside of it.
Ooh.
It was terrible.
Really?
That park is fucking 0 out of 5.
Oh, fuck.
Dude, that park.
And they had a brewery, and it's a 0?
Dude, the beer was shit. You couldn't do anything in the park. Yeah, so I made a pretty cool system, like I think. And someone else at Yellowstone thinks it was cool too, he told me. But on a scale from 1 to 5 stars, how would I rate each park? 3 stars would be, if you're in the area, you should go check out that park. 2 stars would be like, if you're in the area, maybe you should check out that park, maybe not. You know, it's not a huge deal. Yeah. 1 star would be like, hey, honestly, not even fucking worth it. Even if you're a 2-hour drive away, honestly, you don't need to go. I've got a few amount of 1 stars. But then 4 star would be like, hey, I would recommend traveling to come to this park. Then 5 star would be,
you have to fucking get your ass to
I
that
think
park.
Your life would not be fully complete if you did not visit this park at least once.
Oof,
so some of my 5 stars, Yosemite, Zion, Glacier, Yellowstone, Grand Canyon, I think are the 5 that I made. And also possibly Mount Rainier, but we were on a huge caffeine withdrawal when we were there. Because we got this like tincture shot, it's like THC and caffeine. And dude, it felt like a candy flip. But the next day, so low of energy. It was ridiculous.
That doesn't sound like a good
Caffeine
time.
is, I think it's comparable to MDMA. In the terms of like the withdrawals I get, they're bad.
Fuck.
It feels like I'm coming down from a roll.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Why did I bring up the 5-star system? Hot Springs National Park, 1 star.
1 star.
Terrible.
Sounds tight, but
Zion, 5. The rest of the parks in Utah, I'd say 4. You're living in southern Utah now. What caused you to move from Yosemite
to here?
To Zion, yeah. Or like near Zion, like 30 minutes away.
Well, I was working at a restaurant in Yosemite. COVID hit. We were off for months, and
because the whole park was closed, right?
Oh my god, so the whole park was closed.
Yeah,
and that was amazing. That was probably one of the best times.
But you couldn't hike though, right?
You could hike, but you couldn't rock climb. You couldn't like do anything like crazy. I don't think you could do any like major hike after a while. But at first, I think it was fine. Like people were,
literally, you just got the park to yourself,
dude. It was.
That's March too, so you could actually go to like Vernal Falls.
Yeah.
Dude, I couldn't imagine how cool it'd be being at Vernal Falls and I'm the only person in the park. That was probably so sick.
Anywhere that you went, like even when there's people living in the valley, you didn't see many people a lot, and it was incredible. I don't even know how to explain that experience. Again, once in a lifetime experience, divine timing, like whatever. But yeah.
When did you leave?
I was about to say I was coming out here to visit my grandpa for Father's Day. So what? That's June.
I don't know.
June, July.
I haven't celebrated Father's Day a single day of my life.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Technically me either. I guess celebrate my pappy, but yeah, I wanted to surprise him, so I came out like the day before or the day of Father's Day.
And you came out here?
I came to Vegas.
Vegas.
My grandparents live in Vegas, so I came out there. My car broke down on the way.
You have the shittiest luck.
I know.
Especially with your car breaking down, you have the shittiest luck.
I know. I think I'm gonna get a new baby soon.
Get a Prius.
I'll have better luck. Really? I want an SUV though.
Prius. You think you want an SUV, what you actually want is a Prius.
Why? We'll get
into
that.
Dope! They're the best fucking car!
They don't have like a Prius SUV or something.
No, the only thing I wish a Prius had was 4-wheel drive.
Oh,
which you would need.
Oh my god, that would be a superior type of
the
car.
best car.
Yeah. I agree, but I feel like I may need. I don't know.
So Vegas.
We'll see. Vegas. Went back to Vegas. Stayed out there for a while. I was chilling, and then I heard that COVID hit the valley, and people were getting sick in the valley.
Ooh, in Yosemite.
And that's because they started to let people in. And so I was like, no,
what month was that? Like June?
Yeah.
Back then, like COVID, people thought like COVID had like a 5-10% fatality rate too. So maybe not June, maybe May, but still, like it was a lot bigger of a deal than people know it is now.
So anyway, we were laid off. We were fine living in the park throughout quarantine because we were covered under like California's like mandatorium thing or whatever. Anyway, I came out to Vegas, stayed out here for a while, heard COVID hit in the valley. I was like, I'd rather probably not go out there right now, like back over there. I felt a lot safer at my grandparents, but after a while, the mandatorium, is that how you say it? Mandatory like housing lift?
Oh, mandatorium. I don't know what that word is.
Yeah, I don't know. So they lifted that law or whatever that you're like protected, and they started kicking motherfuckers out that didn't have a job. Also, I could have gotten a job. I got offered a job and I declined it because it was as a cashier at base camp, which is like not a place that I'd like to work.
Yeah, the base camp eatery.
Yes.
Cool.
So I could have like stayed in the valley and I could have been living there right now. Like I could be there right now if I wanted to. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? No, like I don't want to. Maybe I shouldn't.
So you just moved to a town of 600 people in the middle of Utah.
Yeah, so I went back to Vegas. My uncle is the manager. My mom was working at this location, and she was telling me about it. She's like, hey, we need a barista if you want a job. And I worked at Starbucks. I was like, yes, I'm down. So I went camping at Zion with some friends that I had just made. And my mom was here, and it was only like not far. So I told her I would come visit after. So I came out to visit, and right away she just was like, this is what you're going to do. like, this is your job. And I wasn't opposed to it. I was kind of like, okay. And I did it the first day, and I was like, I actually really like it.
Yeah.
So I started to like work here, and like I said, my uncle's the manager, and it's just us two. But a bitch is working 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So
sucks.
I haven't gotten to explore much as
really?
I'd like to. Yeah.
Damn, that was gonna be my next question. Is like, what have you explored here? Because dude, this place is fucking legit. It's not much.
Not much. Yeah.
How much longer are you gonna stay here for?
Well, I don't know, because of everything we've like. Some things that are happening, my life might change within the next few days. Same. To be honest. Same. Yeah. Life is shifting. It's exciting. I'm excited too. Honestly, like. I noticed like I'm kind of just going with the flow with life now these days, and it feels really nice because I don't get upset about, I don't have any expectations. I'm down for whatever, like whatever happens. So I would like to explore. If I stop working at this bakery, I'm going to take some time off.
You should.
I'm going to snowboard at Brian Head.
Have you been sandboarding?
No, I haven't, but I seen you do it, and I'm gonna do it now that
place,
it's like right there.
It's probably a 30-minute drive from you.
Yeah.
It's $20 to rent the sandboard.
That's another way that you can go to Vegas too.
We might
like
go
driving
that way.
through.
No, because we're driving there tonight. It's gonna be too late.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be night. Probably is night. I don't even know what time it is. It's 6:00 right now. If that.
Oh, that's
right.
not bad. Oh no, I feel like it's 7 or something, right?
Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know if that
anyway,
clock's right.
Who cares? What is time, anyways?
I'd recommend Pink Coral or Coral Pink
yeah.
Sand Dunes State Park. That place was fucking one of my favorite parts of this road trip.
Yeah.
Honestly,
wow, I'm so happy. It looks intense, like not intense, but so much fun. It's sand dunes
that you can sand dune.
Did you buy that board?
It's $20 to rent.
Specifically? Oh wow.
You can rent it for $20.
I wonder what's the difference between that board and like a snowboard. Do they tell you, or does it look? It looked literally like a snowboard.
It's similar. It has like a softer bottom, and you have to wax it up before you use it. Like every time you're gonna like slide down, wax it up, and they give you the wax. But I don't know. I've never snowboarded. I'm doing it for the first time this winter. Yeah. But
where?
We're going to Brian Head for Christmas.
Dude, let's do it.
And then also, I mean, depending on how long I'll be out of the country or in the country, because I think I'm leaving to Colombia in like January.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna just spend a couple of days in Tahoe and just get like a weekend. Dude, or like a week. Like
let's get an Airbnb and just fucking.
I'd be down.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I definitely want to get into snowboarding because sandboarding was fun as fuck.
Snowboarding, that's another thing. In living in Yosemite, that was probably one of the best times that I've had.
Snowboarding in Yosemite.
Snowboarding.
I should have done that. I should have taken you up on that offer.
Yeah.
But real quick, 2 recommendations. Well, I mean, one, go to the visitor center in Kanab. They'll tell you a million different cool things you could do. Wow. The 2 that I recommend, we did 1, obviously, Pink Coral State Park, and 2, Peekaboo Canyon. Have you heard of Antelope Canyon?
No, I heard of Peekaboo Canyon.
Okay, it's like a slot canyon, kind of like Antelope Canyon, where you're walking and the canyon is like this deep, and like it's kind of like the Narrows, but the Narrows are like this narrow. So that one is really cool. I'm definitely going to be doing that. You're within an hour drive from there, and also I could tell in Southern Utah there's a ton of dope shit that you could do. We're running out of time a little bit.
Okay.
Last question. If someone wants to follow you, where can they do that? Instagram. What's your Instagram?
CHVNNXO.
Awesome. I'll leave a link to the description, and I'll leave a link on screen. Thank you, Chantel. This was fucking fun. All right, guys, that's the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, let me know by leaving a like. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you want to watch my last episode, it was pretty much just an introduction to what I'm planning to do for the podcast, and also kind of a little bit of a backstory for me. So if you want to check that out, if you haven't already, I'll leave a link to it. It's going to be the first link in the description. My name is Braden Sky. Thanks for watching.